I swear every time I record this game, there's like a new version. This is version 1.20.5. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Um, Hello everyone. How are you guys doing? I hope you all are having a great day because currently there is a creeper outside my house and I don't want to be involved with him, so I have to find a way to get out of here. To the damaging I go. Now, here's the thing, right? I was thinking about what to talk about, and I was being very hasty with my words to a very unprofessional degree. And I know that like these videos are basically the opposite of professional as they're meant to be. But oh right, there's no tree here. I was thinking about it, right? And it occurs to me that us kiddos these days, us younger people don't necessarily understand the value of taking things slow and just understanding and experiencing life. And when I say experiencing life, I don't necessarily mean in the cheesy way that a lot of older people like to say, because there's a lot of people out there, right, who would have us younger people believe that the way to move through life is to experience as much as you can before settling down. And I don't necessarily buy into that sentiment from the mere standpoint that the more you move around, the less stable you are. And human beings are either. I am of the opinion, and this is not necessarily a belief because I'm not entirely sure about it, but I'm of the opinion that human beings are very bipolar in the way that they operate. They are either stable or unstable, and there's not entirely a lot of in between, mostly because they don't allow that in between to really exist. And I think a very big thing, a very big problem that we have in the world nowadays is people moving way too fast. And granted, when I say this, I don't necessarily mean moving through life too fast, because if you've figured out life to the point where you can move fairly quickly through it and you're confident in your abilities to achieve certain goals, like, man, all glory and praise to you because you are one in a million, right? Um, Now, the thing is, what I am talking about is this notion that you're moving so fast but never getting anywhere, right? And this is something I was talking with Dad about too, actually. The world moves very fast. It's moved too fast, really, ever since 2020, for obvious reasons. But the reasoning for the reason is that for a lot of people my age, of my generation, the world was supposed to be. It was supposed to make more sense. And then something happened that had become so unprecedented and so unexpected that it completely threw any other expectations about the world under the bus. And I don't think I need to explain what that thing was, because I'm sure we all experienced it. And the funny thing, right, is that that experience, um, it really, how do I put it? It made certain things that the world had operated on up until that point entirely meaningless. And it made other things that the world hadn't operated on up until that point the new, let's use a term of my kind and call it the meta, the new way we do things, the new modus operandi, right? And for better or worse, stuff changed. And a lot of it was for worse, I believe, because what wound up happening is that society has now, I know this is society, right? But society has encouraged these ridiculous measures to just absolutely bottleneck our lives out of our control. And so what you have are these older people, typically our parents or our grandparents, saying you don't have to move so fast and you don't have to, you know, you can take your time in the world. You know, you can travel around, see stuff and stuff like that. What that is though it comes from a place of good intentions, it's a drastic generalization on what they actually experienced. What they experienced was travel through college. They made friends through college, which is why they always favor college so much. And they're always like, oh, you should go to college, right? And the thing is that college is too expensive. Just on the face of it, it's ridiculous. And a lot of people, you know, will have their opinions about college, and some are going through it right now, but without any real purpose behind it. Like, there's no meaning behind the college that they're going towards. They're not, like, there's no purpose other than to have the piece of paper that might increase your chances of getting a job by, like, 2%, right? Because we all know that most jobs nowadays require years of prior experience and certain certificates that you might not even get anyways, because apparently 95 to 99% of job offerings out there are spoofs. They're fake. They're not real, right? And I've experienced this personally. A lot of job offerings out there now are just data mining. They are just stealing and selling your personal information. And it's a very scary thing. It's a very drastic thing. And it's not something anyone was really prepared for except the nefarious people. And it makes me personally very worried about mankind as a whole, really. But in particular, it makes me worried for people who come after me and how we're going to set a precedent. Because back in the day, even back in the 2010s, you know, the later 2010s, people still operated on a higher trust society than we do now. And nowadays, the automatic assumption of everybody is that, well, everyone lies. And it was never meant to be that way. So the fact that it got to that point is, like, startling. Because it wasn't supposed to be this hard, but it was something that, hang on, I want to keep building my house. So I want to build a roof for my house. Yeah. So how am I going to format this? It's not a perfectly square house, but I can make it work. First off, I got to build a little platform for myself to walk on. I will make that out of dirt, because I know I have plenty of dirt. Perfect. And if I die, I will just lose dirt. Cool. So, the main issue really is that no one trusts anyone anymore, and it's brought about a lot by these fake job offerings, fake ads on Instagram. Like, everything nowadays is fake. Everyone lies, and it's ridiculous. And I know this is kind of a topic shift, and I can discuss that more in a in a later video. But this notion that everyone is your friend, or that, like, people help you, is such a ludicrous notion to so many people. And it's part of that makes the world move so fast, because too fast, really. Because what you wind up having are these people who just don't care enough about you to help. And it's a very upsetting thing, because we want help desperately. And we want help through life. And what they say about boomers is very true. You know, how they pulled the ladder up from underneath us and just, like, abandoned us and left us to rot. There's an element of truth to that, because, quite frankly, we really shouldn't be in this situation where we're at. I'm going to make stairs. Just a ton of stairs. we shouldn't be at the situation where we're at because the older generation was meant to teach us how to navigate through life. And oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. Well, that was worthless. Anyways, I'm going to go to sleep. The older generation was meant to mentor us through life, right? And just when we were reaching the ages where we okay. Just when we were reaching the ages in life where we really, really needed that help, and we're like, okay, mom and dad, how do I do all this grown-up stuff? It just kind of got hoisted upon us, and because the world was taken out of their control too, and it was a frankly awful thing to witness, right? Because here I am, as someone who deeply loves and respects his parents, and they can't help me through life, like, very much at all, because there's absolutely no concept for how the world works. And there is a concept, right? But it's a very narrow one, and it's not their fault. And that's something that I think a lot of younger people nowadays have to understand, is that it's not their faults that the world is the way it is either. It's a combination of many, many, many factors, and I have to actually think about what I'm doing here. It's a combination of many, many factors, and all of those factors basically total up to no one knows what they're doing at this point, and we're all trying to wing it. And while that sounds hopeless, there is a lot of hope behind it, because it gives us, the new kids, the opportunity to rebuild the world. And that sounds like a very tall order, but it's not quite so drastic and bold and, like, daunting, right? For starters, we're fairly capable people. The main thing that we necessarily have problems with, I guess, in our society, right, is that the older generation doesn't give us a lot of credibility because they work very, very, very differently. And granted, we could operate the exact same way, but they haven't really taught us how. And that's very difficult to deal with when we're trying to just get along and try to move forward in life, right? And these older people just won't give us a break, right? And I'm sure everyone's experienced that to some degree before. I'm going to do my best to operate this balancing act, so give me a sec here. Let me know in the comments, by the way, what you guys have experienced throughout life with the older generation being persnickety or weird or something like that. Because a lot of what I've experienced has basically been advice that can't necessarily be followed up on due to so many other outside factors, like the fact that I can't get a job, and you just sometimes feel like you're screaming into the void. And while I'm a Catholic and I put my faith in Jesus Christ, and I trust that there is some greater plan and that God will help me get through this, and that I am as capable as my very gracious parents and grandparents have told me. Obviously, I can't let him do all the work, right? So I have to... It's basically like building this house, right? It's difficult. It takes time, and you go through much trial and error. And it's a very difficult thing to process, the notion, right, that your parents won't exactly be able to help you all the time, but at least they can give you all the help you can possibly receive, right? And hopefully, okay, I can make it. Yay. Hi. I'm just recording.
No worries.
What's up?
You want my food?
What is it?
It's 2 chicken strips left.
Oh, thank you.
Barbecue. Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm not hungry. I need to shower and go to bed because I have prom tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm. I'm fine now. I feel better.
Yeah.
It's just rough for her. I just feel really bad.
We're all gonna make it, Gigi. That's actually kind of what I'm talking about right now in the video.
I know. I'm just.
The discussion point that everything's so freaking difficult all the time, but we're gonna make it.
It's the survivor's guilt, you know. It's just.
Yeah, I know. She lost her job and you didn't. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but it's also that you don't have a job either. So I'm like, I'm making really good money and like.
I work for
just
Dad.
trying
What
to
do you
survive.
mean? I have.
I guess.
I do the best I can.
I make $20 an hour. That's a lot of money. I'm just.
Sounds like
very
you're doing
fortunate.
pretty well. You are fortunate. Don't let that weigh you down. You're very fortunate,
I
and
also just really can't lose this job.
no one can. Everyone's desperately trying to win this rat race, but
Like, I really need this job.
I know everyone does.
They've already. It's gone from 142 employees to 130 now.
Yeah, that's how a lot of it works.
Mom told me that actually Charlotte accidentally received the final paycheck of another person. So there's someone else getting laid off at the same time as her.
Oh gosh.
So they did at least 2 that day. That's stressful. Also, great spot for a house.
Yeah, there's a village about 2 chunks that way,
Oh my gosh.
and I'm
Really
just kind of
nice.
setting up. I have a ton of saplings that I still have to plant
Ooh.
for harvesting more
Is this
wood.
a new video idea? Just branching out, trying a few different.
It's a very classic method of YouTube where we just
Are you using
talk.
Bedrock?
No, this is Java
That
1.20.
is so smooth.
It's 1.20.5.
Yeah, we have that on the other computer, but damn, this is smooth.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I'm gonna take all my saplings out and try to plant them.
I'm not hungry, and I have to go to bed anyway.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, let me know what you think of them. They're kind of cold. They were in my locker for like 2 hours.
That's all right. They'll be edible. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Have a good night.
You too.
Yeah, so that was a prime example right there. My sister got laid off from Chick-fil-A after working so hard to get through all the hiring process, and lasted like a month, and now she's out. And my other sister feels terrible because she kept her job and Charlotte didn't, right? And now who knows who's next on the chopping block, right? We have to keep our heads up, though, and always be working on our other creative endeavors or whatever other endeavors we want to work on, because eventually the world is going to be run by us, and one way or another we will figure out how to make it right. One day we will make this easier for our children, because that is really the whole point of life, is to make life better for your children. Not necessarily easier, but definitely better. And I suppose that's the moral of the story. With that, I will talk to you all in the next video. So please do take care. And I'm going to go have my chicken nuggets now.